Well. Good evening, everyone, and happy Friday, TGIF. So, the dog is at home right now. I got back from a long walk with the dog over an hour ago. So, yeah, the dog, is kind of resting right now. Plus, I kind of came out here for some transit fanning purposes. Reason being, well, part of the reason at least is because, you see, I did a time lapse yesterday on the 55 bus, and apparently the time lapse was shorter than I thought. Slightly shorter than I thought. It was only 23 seconds. And I find it's not very significant, but you know what? I'm still keeping it on there. I'm not deleting it, even though it doesn't have real significance. So, anyways, what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be tracing the bus route, the 55 bus route, because I kind of like to trace bus routes, and it's part of being a transit fan, although we all like to do different things, of course. But anyways, it's not a very big neighborhood, so I decided, why not do it, kind of just to make up for you guys not being able to see what my bus ride was like yesterday. You could, however, see the interior, and as you have seen in yesterday's time-lapse video, I was on 8042, and that's actually the same bus that I saw in that YouTube video about Main Street Station. There's one video that I found on YouTube, and it's when this young man says, look, we've got 8042 at Main Street Station. This bus is not from the east. And of course, that's the bus I was on yesterday. Anyways, this is the same neighborhood where I was walking the dog, Warren Park. Thing is, you see, 55 is actually not a long bus route. Like, you see, it doesn't go very far. 55 doesn't go very far because, it's just not a long bus route. As a matter of fact, it only has one bus terminal, which is Jane subway station. You see, all it does is just go all around the loop and then back to Jane. You see, you can pretty much just you could just sit there and take the bus all the way around the merry-go-round. Just take the bus and enjoy a nice bus ride, and then go back to Jane Station without having to step off. And I can see my shadow right here. Of course, it's evening. So, yeah, but I mean, hear what I'm saying? Like, 55 doesn't have a bus loop or anything else. All it does is just go around the hill and then goes all the way back to Jane Station. So because it's not a major route, you could just, if you feel like, just taking a nice ride on a bus, you could just hop on that one. And this time, I'm not going to go around in circles because I know where I'm going. I'm quite familiar with this neighborhood, even though I don't live here. I know where everything is and all that. Okay, did I just bypass where I was supposed to go? You know what? I might have bypassed it. Or maybe not. I can see the bus stop sign over there. Oh, and sorry if you guys think that I'm making a duplicate video, because I was here last Tuesday walking the dog, and you know, you guys were like, already got to see it, and I was walking around in circles, but that was a different circumstance. Now I'm just tracing a bus route. So I did a time lapse yesterday on purpose because I've never done a time lapse on my channel before, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to do a time lapse, but apparently it didn't have much significance. You know what I could do though? I could do a time lapse on route number 50, not the 55, the 935 Jane Express. And reason being, that's a major bus route, 935. Well, 35, 935, they're major bus routes. And they go pretty far, great distances. You know, I once took the 935 from Pioneer Village all the way down to Jane and Bloor. Even though it was an express, the ride was like 50 minutes. And I mean 50. It was like surprisingly longer than I thought. But I think one day I'll just take the 935 bus from Jane subway station up to Pioneer Village and then do a time lapse on that route. That way the time lapse will be a little bit longer. Yeah, so I didn't really make a good choice by doing a time lapse on a short bus route. That's probably why not many people use that route, because it doesn't go very far. And you know, a lot of bus routes like to name their routes after neighborhood names, just like how a lot of the LRT stations are going to be named after neighborhood names. Like, for example, Cedarvale is a neighborhood name. Same with Mount Dennis. In fact, Mount Dennis, that's actually where the bus garage is, the division. And Mount Dennis is a neighborhood, it's not a street. So, yeah, that's, anyways, with that being said, 55 actually used to be operated out of Mount Dennis Division, and then it got moved to Queensway as of January 2020. That actually makes sense, because you know what? 55 is like within the range, because it interlines with the 40, so it's basically within range. And I'm also noticing that there's like one bus per run on the 55, because I was actually here over an hour ago with the dog. Like, I took the dog walking along this neighborhood here, just like I did last week, but did not go around in circles this time. But it's just that I saw 7918. And then when I came back here again, I saw 7918 running again. I mean, I can understand why there's only one bus per route, because it doesn't have a bus terminal. It just goes all around in a loop-de-loop. And, yeah, not a very big neighborhood. But I can only trace like short bus routes. Like I cannot trace the 35, for example, because that's too much. I can't walk all the way to Pioneer Village from Jane and Bloor. I just can't. Too far to walk. Good thing I took the 935 and not the regular 35 from one bus terminal to another, because if I took the regular 35, it would take me over an hour to get from Pioneer Village down to Jane and Bloor. So earlier today, I was on bus number 8094 on the 73, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because that's the same bus I was on December 2nd, 2021 on the 123. When I saw that number, I was thinking to myself, wait a second, that's the same bus I was on before. Because I remember that one time, like, I know I've told you about the story where this teenager confronted me for videotaping on the bus and all that. And I was thinking to myself, oh yeah, I certainly remember this bus, because, yeah, that's the same bus where I got confronted for videotaping. I even remember saying that I did not want to describe him due to privacy reasons, but you know what? I don't think it hurts, to be honest. He's in the thumbnail eating Timbits. That's all I can say. That should be good enough. Oh wow, mosquito almost flew into my eye. I gotta be careful. Wow, look how hilly this is. It's kind of cool living in this neighborhood, though. I mean, like, having a house on a hill sounds really cool. My old house was actually on a hill, but it wasn't a hilly street like this. Cause that looks kind of like Japan, with all those hills and forests and all that. Oh wow, there's a dog howling. And yeah, I mean, having a curvy street on a hill with a forest right beside it. They have a lot of those in Japan. I don't really like this neighborhood, to be honest. I mean, I kind of like it because there's a lot of nature, but one thing I don't like about it, it's kind of antique. Well, it reminds me of antique stuff. And I don't know, I just hate antique stuff. I like modern much better, because I especially hate antique stuff as of May 2021, because I remember in May 2021, I dreamed about something antique, and it triggered a depression crisis, because, you know, antique stuff can be, I find antique stuff depressing, and I see somebody throwing out a dishwasher here. So this is Gooch Avenue, and it turns into Underwood Avenue. Oh, and there's that trail that I was telling you about in that Baby Point video. Because I even remember saying, as I was walking up that very steep hill, I said, oh, well, I want to try out that hill, but I don't really want to take up too much of your time. But anyways, when I was on the way back, the dog and I did walk along that trail. And it's pretty cool. I mean, it runs in between people's backyards, but it takes you from like over there to here, you know? Anyways, it's a nice and quiet evening. Oh, and here's where I got off the bus. Right here. See that? I got off right here. And then after this, it just goes all the way around again. Yeah, so this is like where I went up the hill last Saturday, and this is like where I came out of. Well, where I came out of to go up the hill up to Baby Point Road, because you can literally walk to the Baby Point neighborhood from here without having, you know, to go out on the noisy streets. I find it kind of rare. Well, I'm not sure if rare is the right word, but it doesn't happen as often where, you know, a bus goes through a quiet neighborhood. Because normally buses don't do that. They don't really go through a quiet neighborhood unlike this, especially, you know, this bus is even called, the route name is even called Warren Park, and it's kind of a quiet neighborhood. Well, technically yes, but and when I was out here earlier with the dog, there was a lot of cyclists, a lot of dogs, a lot of children screaming and all that. So, yeah, that's one thing. You know, I actually used to like antique stuff when I was like 5 years old. But not anymore. In fact, a lot of the interesting stuff that I liked when I was 5 years old, I don't like as much anymore. I mean, that includes Disney. In fact, I still like Disney even now. I'm just not as obsessed with Disney as I was when I was 5 years old. Wow, look at those group of mosquitoes. Woo-wee. You see? Look at this bus shelter. Look how dated that is. Like, I mean, it looks so old. Like, it's so black and all that. It's very hard to find bus shelters like this nowadays. So anyways, that's another thing I wanted to show you. So you know what? Since we went all the way around, I think I'm just gonna pause. I'm not gonna pause, I'm just gonna stop. And, you know, I hope I see you again next time. Oh, by the way, that school I just walked by, I'm surprised I didn't walk by that school last Tuesday, because I was like walking everywhere around here back then. Anyways, goodbye everyone.